Welcome back for another episode with your girls here. I'm sorry, girl, did I scare you?
No, you didn't scare me, but I was all ready to start and you just jumped on right in there. So go ahead,
Oh,
girl.
girl, I told you I got this. Listen, we're here another week, another episode here for you to tune in with us, ready to have you enjoy a nice little discussion because that's what we're here to do. Your girls like to talk, so we're going to talk to you, we're going to talk to each other. And today's episode is another interesting one, so I hope you're ready.
Yes, it definitely will be an interesting one. I have some things that I kind of want to talk to you about. And you have kind of an idea, but you don't really know where I'm going with anything.
Definitely don't.
Um, so the other day I just like texted Amanda and I was like, okay, I was like, next topic, next episode topic, whatever the hell I'm trying to say, is going to be thong bikinis.
Mm,
So I guess I don't know. Do I want to ask you what do you think I'm gonna get into before I get into it, or you just want me to go for it? Because I'm kind of a little curious, like what you're thinking when I said that.
so it made me think of our episode Exposure Fat or Get a Wedge, right? So it was like, okay, thong bikinis, is she kind of like hating on them? Like, not necessarily hating, but like against them, where it's
Hmm.
just, where I feel like I can relate in a sense of like, I'm not really feeling how I'm looking necessarily. So I don't know how I would look in it, or it's thong bikinis. I love the way I look in them. And maybe I don't know. I don't really know where you're going with it, but um it kind of also led me to think like, all right, well, thong bikinis, being out at the beach, how do you feel about like other guys or like guys looking at other girls in thong bikinis and like some type of perception around that? I don't know. Am I like, can you like gauge me? Am I warm? Am I cold on this?
So your last thoughts are kind of along the
I
lines,
had a
like
feeling.
it's going in a direction. Um, of where I was kind of going with this. So basically, I forget if I heard it like on the radio or if it was something that like I read or whatever. But anyways, so
Hmm.
this came into my my purview. And it's something that I've thought about before, but it's never really been something that like I've like talked about. It's just kind of like a thought or like whatever that like popped in my head.
Okay.
But so basically where I want to go with this is these thong bikinis and these women out here wearing like floss to
Not floss.
go to like the beach and like the pools and like whatever, but like I strongly stand with the people who I believe should just start like a movement about like completely banning thong bikinis at like water parks and
Ooh.
like specifically water parks, but then also, like beaches and stuff, like in family type environments, right? Like, why do I
Right.
have to explain to, my child why this woman's running around here half naked with her ass out? Like, I
Right.
just think stuff like that is like so wild to me. Like, and it's hard. And to go back to like our expose your fat or get a wedge episode, like,
Hmm.
it's really hard these days to find a bathing suit that's not thong like. Some are thicker than others, which is a
Right.
good thing.
Right.
But like, first of all, I'm not comfortable wearing a thong bikini, and it's really hard to find something that like covers your ass in
Hmm.
general, especially if you have a bigger booty than others.
Right.
Um,
It's not helpful.
no, not at all. And these like thong bikinis to me are like just outrageous. Like I don't want them. Like I want to
Hmm.
find a bikini that will actually cover my butt. And also for the bikinis that like, because it is hard to find them,
Hmm.
more of your butt probably shows than you would prefer it to.
That's very true.
And I don't know about you, but like I just feel awkward when like my whole ass is out in front of like children.
Yeah. So I have back and forth views, and I'll say when it comes to being in front of children, definitely no thong type of like,
Yeah,
just
it's
cover your
weird.
cheeks and just, I'm not going to say it's classless, but like have some more respect because, like
Yeah.
you said, like people don't need to be explaining to their kids why someone's ass is out.
It's
Also,
just mad
too,
weird.
It's like those kids probably never even seen their own parents' cheeks before. So why do they need to, why do they need to see a stranger's cheeks? There's already enough going on in the world that you have to worry about explaining to your kids. Let's not add another thing to the list. Let them just grow up and just have some fun and not worry about what someone else is doing, right?
Mhm.
So that's how I feel around that. And I completely agree too about like water parks, like know your place, know where you're at, and know the
Exactly.
environment that you're in.
Mhm. Like,
Like,
go wear those at, like, the Miami Beach, like, pool parties and shit, like
exactly, exactly. But I will say, so I don't have like a G-string thong type of
well, that's
b-
good.
bathing suit, but I do have like a thong bathing suit where like most
Uh-oh.
of my cheeks are out.
Oh, man.
Um
I mean, I'm sure you look amazing in it, but,
Thank you. Um, Not very comfortable in it because that's going out of my comfort zone,
Mhm.
but I've always wanted to like just have that kind of bathing suit, mainly because I can expose more of my skin to the sun and just
Oh,
get
yeah.
more chocolatey. So that's what it is for me. It's not about trying to like broadcast the cheeks and be all out like that.
Mhm.
So I would prefer, honestly, like I do prefer more coverage though. A little bit of cheek hanging out, like you said, when you have a bigger butt, your cheeks are gonna kind of be out anyway, so you
Yeah.
can't fully cover it, and I'm fine with that. But it's I think more so now that I've given birth, I'm gonna prefer the more coverage, but even like a little high-waisted bottom, something that's just a
Mhm.
little more coverage for the belly rather than the butt cheeks.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But thong bathing suits are hard because they're not for everyone. They just really aren't for everyone. And
No.
they're they're just they're just not being worn correctly. And especially when it's like the bathing suit is lost in you.
When it's lost in you, okay.
Yeah. No, you probably don't need to wear a thong bathing suit at that point because then you look like you're not wearing a bathing suit at all.
Right.
So let's just stick to a traditional bottom.
Yeah, I mean, it's just wild, and, like, the fronts of, like, these thong bikinis are
Oh
like
my gosh. Oh,
I don't get it, like, it's just not comfortable, like, in general, like, I don't know what's happening.
right. And I'm gonna just say in my defense for my little bathing suit I got that is a thong-ish style because that front is the front of a regular bathing suit. Your girl
Gotcha.
cannot, no, those little two pieces of thread type of bathing suits.
It's wild.
Ha like, just like we talked about with those tops with the little snaps at the bottom, the onesies, like the
Mhm.
little infant onesies, those are already comfortable enough.
Yeah. No, definitely. Mm. I don't
Eh,
know, it's just wild. I mean, and to your point, I guess the only pro of them being a white woman, I totally agree with you that yes, less is more when you're out in the sun because you wanna tan as much body as you possibly can. So
Yes.
trust me, like, I totally get it from, like, that standpoint, but like you
Mhm,
said, like, know your place and know where you're at because it's just totally, like, inappropriate in my opinion. I mean, obviously,
mhm.
people are gonna have differing opinions, but, like, I just don't see the need. Like, cover your cheeks when you're in family environments, like,
Yeah. Yeah, and again, nothing left to the imagination.
no, not at all.
So, everyone's man, everyone's woman gonna see you. We all know all of you at this point.
Yeah. I don't know, and that too, I mean, women, like, we really just have to get it together. Like you said, leave nothing, to the imagination and stuff,
Mm-mm.
and these men out here are not taking us seriously because
Mm,
there's so many out there that are just, what did we just talk about in one of the recent episodes? Out here just thoughting away and
yes. Thought culture.
yeah,
Thought culture. I don't wanna be a part of that culture, so I
no,
refuse.
yeah, no, I do too, and it's just it really makes it hard out here, and these men are just more hesitant to get in relationships with people because we just out here doing the most, exposing the most, physically and just being out here doing some crazy ish that
Mhm.
our ancestors would be, definitely ashamed of.
Mad as hell about. But the thing is too, it's not only do they not necessarily not want to be in a relationship, but they don't need to be because
Right.
they can still get relationship type things
Mhm.
without having the title.
Exactly. Exactly. And I know because a lot of conversations I have with my man
Mhm.
is there's a lot of men out there and there's tons of videos. And this comes into conversation now because the other day we were watching like shorts on YouTube
Okay.
and plug to YouTube. Um, and one of them came up where this guy was talking about why men like shouldn't get married. And we watched a lot of like relationship type of videos. So he
Mhm.
knows at this point I was about to say something, but before I even said anything, he scrolled right through that shit because he knows damn well that I do not I'm not gonna say it loud because he can do what he wants at the end of the day, but
Mhm.
I am strongly against him watching any kind of videos about men talking about why they don't wanna be married and why they shouldn't get married and all this and all that kinda stuff. So, trust and believe he flicked through that video really quickly before I even got a chance to open my mouth. He was
He
like
respects his woman. Okay.
he did. He was like 'cause I was about to say something and he was like, "I did already." He's like, "I didn't watch it." And I'm like, "Well, good, because you shouldn't be watching that kinda shit."
So we don't know the reasons.
No, we totally know the reasons, because we've had this conversation, like, a number of times,
Okay. What are
and
those
the
reasons?
biggest well, I mean, there's only truly one really huge reason, right?
Mhm.
Men always get the shit end of the stick, unfortunately, when it comes to really anything, when they break up with somebody and they
Mhm.
have some kind of ties, whether it's children or marriage, they definitely get um the bad end of the stick when it comes to anything financially related.
Sure.
And, from a man's perspective, they kind of question, like, why would I bother getting married if, you shouldn't people go into marriage not thinking they're going to get a divorce, but in the event that that should occur,
Mhm.
I'm going to have to, provide her with like half of my pension and like half of my, salary and like alimony and like all of this kind of stuff. And you're
Mhm.
not left with anything that you've earned and like you've, built for yourself. She might take the house or she might take your cars and like whatever. And like she just like walks away happy, not having
Mhm.
to
But
work
isn't
for
that
anything.
the point of a prenuptial?
Well, and so that's a point that I always make because I'm like, babe, you just draw up whatever kind of contract prenup that you want and just tell me to
Mhm.
sign on the dotted line and I will do so if that's what it's gonna take to put a little ring on his finger.
Right. I know it's looking a little empty.
It is indeed. So he knows that already, whatever, but I guess there's been some instances as well where I forget what it was. There was some famous couple,
Mhm.
where I think it was Dr. Dre or something like that, his wife. She was
Mm,
fighting the prenup, and I think she won too at the end of the day.
wow.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing also is that that's also sad because ideally the person you're getting married to, granted, I know things happen so that it can change a lot from beginning to end,
Mhm.
but ideally the person you're marrying is someone that you'll always have respect for. And
You would think.
right, ideally, right? So it's just sad when you see stuff like that happen because my man and I have talked about that and just like, okay, well, getting married, like what are your expectations?
Mhm.
And to me, I says, well, my expectations, one, aren't any different than the relationship we're currently in. Marriage puts more of a tie and there's more like seriousness around it.
Mhm.
But if you're not going to take a non-marital relationship serious, why would you get married? And then when it comes to looking at things like the finances, I said, I don't, and obviously this is just my opinion, but like I wouldn't and I wouldn't get married to someone to turn around and take what they've earned for
Mhm.
themselves.
Yeah.
If I didn't contribute to any of that, then who am I to come and take that from you?
Right.
However, I can understand perspectives of if you're a housewife, right?
Mhm.
And you maintain the home so he can go ahead and maintain the business. That's a little bit different of a setup, but I'll be damned if you catch me not making any type of money in some way, shape, or form.
Mhm. Yeah,
to
right,
have something of my own.
right. Exactly. And I mean, you know, us women, you know, I completely understand because there are plenty of women out there that are petty, and when they get in their emotions and stuff,
Mhm.
like, they just wanna, like, hit them where it hurts, and,
Sheesh.
you
Yeah.
know but that, at the end of the day, is scaring these men into not wanting to get married,
Mhm.
not touching base on the thought culture and all these women out here who are not,
Right.
wifey material, unfortunately,
Mhm.
um, is a huge another issue in itself. But in the event that a man does actually want to commit and share his name with you and get married and stuff like that,
Mhm.
I understand how that can be like a huge concern because we're not the ones that have to worry about like our salaries or like our earnings or whatever being taken away from us. Sadly,
Right. Right.
um,
It's
so
true.
I I totally get it. But at the end of the day, I don't think it should stop people from getting married. you
Right.
know.
Right.
But then again, that's me from my woman's perspective.
And from my woman's perspective, I also agree. It's just, but at the same time too, I feel like if they're that scared, then there's someone who probably shouldn't be married because
Maybe.
you are going and taking a risk one way or another.
Mhm.
You're risking it to work out great or you're risking it to not work out great. But it's like I understand finances are a big thing, but get a hidden savings account. Put some extra money aside that has nothing to do. You know what I mean? Like find a way
Yeah.
to stash some cash so then that way that has nothing to do with the person who may take it from you.
Yeah. I mean, I still don't know. I mean, not a bad idea, because that's like what that soccer player did. He had like all of his money go into like his mom's name, so that way he had like nothing in like any of his accounts. It was all in his
Mhm.
mom's accounts. And when he got divorced,
That's the way.
his wife tried to, claim whatever he earned, and he was like, "I don't have anything." She's like, "How do you not have anything? You're like this huge like soccer player or whatever." But it was all because it was in his mom's name. So
So
he was
smart.
smart when it came to that kind of
So
stuff.
smart, definitely.
And then I've heard other stories where men will like intentionally like stop working or, work like part-time to have a lower salary in
Yep.
order to evade, having to to pay these things. And,
Mhm.
it sucks that they have to do this kind of stuff because there's there's so many women out there that are just so petty and spiteful and
Yeah.
just trying to take shit that like they don't,
Deserve.
they don't deserve, they don't have the rights to. Um so I don't know. It's just wild. But the fact that there's judges out there that are allowing these things to happen is more mind-blowing in itself.
And why is it happening? That's the question. Because even when you look at things like, slightly off topic, but when you look at things like child custody, right? Just like you partially mentioned a little bit before,
Mhm.
that's something that ends in the favor of the mom in most cases. And it's
Yeah.
just, and nothing against us as women, but there are some women that just aren't fit to have children or raise their children. There
Mhm.
are some women who just aren't fit to be married to. Like
Facts.
you can't categorize everyone as the same, but
Yeah.
judges seem to typically rule in that favor. And I don't know. I personally feel like if it really depends on the reason for the divorce. It really depends on the reason because if there's sorts of infidelity, um, you know, but I still don't think even if there's infidelity, like say the man cheated and that's why the woman's calling for a divorce, I still don't think that's a reason for her to take every last bit of his money.
Yeah, no, not at
Then
all.
that's not reasonable to me.
Yeah. Like why are we doing these things? Why can't we just like go our separate ways and, you take yours, I'll take mine and
Mhm.
like be done with it and call it a day. Like
Right.
we
And
need to
I
stop.
And I get part of it too, part of it is because they do have to start all over. Depending on how the situation goes, if the woman has to leave, she has to start all over, or if the
Mhm.
man has to leave, he has to start all over. But okay, I understand giving a little chump change to the one who has to start all over. Here's your first, last, and security for your first month, and
Yeah. See you.
like at that point, you got a month to pull it together. But again, why
Yeah.
don't you have any money saved? Why don't you
Right.
have?
Yeah, and not to share, like, my pension or, like, give you, like, a fucking monthly allowance
Right.
like you're my child, like, get out of here.
Right. Right, because it's like you see this all the time in social media, like, the
Mhm.
amount of money that people have to pay for, you know, divorcing or even for mainly child support is what I see the most, and it's like, is that even a realistic number? Like, are these real things? People
Yeah,
pay $10,000 a month for child support for 1 child. Is that a
it's wild, yeah.
they're 5. What? You don't even have to buy diapers?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's insane for sure. But kind of a um a thought that we had when we were kind of like talking about this the other day as in
Mhm,
regards to like why judges might rule this in like women's favor.
mhm,
Um, and it kind of makes sense if you truly think about it. They're awarding women this money
mhm.
because at the end of the day, it truly helps the economy. And when I say that, I mean because out of men and women, who are the ones that are out there and they're shopping and they're spending their money and they're doing all of these things
Yes.
and majority of the time spending more money than they actually have or they earn, right? It's
Oh, man, this is a
the
setup.
women. And we're putting these things back out there into the economy and we're just keeping everything, booming.
That's true.
Whereas if it was the men, who knows what would happen to the economy because they're not out here doing
Spending
all
as
of these
much.
things.
They're
Yeah.
only just buying hats and sneakers and
Video games.
video games and car accessories.
Yeah, exactly. They're not out here, they're not going shopping, they're not, they might occasionally like online shop or something, but it's not an
Right.
all the time thing.
The
Um,
stereotypical empty fridge.
exactly, exactly. So, it's a potential sad truth as to why this is happening. And it just kind of reminds you like why, I'm just gonna say America because I don't know how it is in other places, but like
Right.
America is just,
I don't know. I
messed
mean,
up.
I guess that's something to look into. What are divorce rates like for other places? Because I feel like um some other countries you look at, they take marriage, it seems like they take marriage more seriously than we do.
Yeah.
Um,
When there's like
just from little
arranged
bits and
marriages
pieces.
and
Exactly, right?
Mhm.
So it's just, I've met people who are younger than me that have been married more than once, and I'm like,
Yeah, wild.
I haven't been married once,
I
which
know.
I'm not saying it to compare, but I'm just saying it like you're younger than me and married more than once when typically you're looking for marriage and to be that couple that's like, we're married for 70 years. Like
Mhm.
that's typically what you would think one would want to see. But just doing it so many times over and over again, um, that says a lot, in my opinion.
It definitely does. And it's really sad. Divorce rates are up and I think just marriages in general are down because just the
Hmm.
way society and the culture is going, like nobody wants to get married.
I mean, it is expensive too to get married. I'm just gonna say.
Well, yes, that too.
In most cases, I've seen a few stories of people using very little and coming out with good success
Yeah.
on, for how their wedding turns out and how it
Mhm.
looks. But I just can only imagine the amount of effort that requires to be able to put that in. Like, you got to work on that for a few years just to make sure you get everything good and ready.
Mhm.
Um, because that sounds like a lot of DIY.
It definitely does.
Which don't get me wrong, I love me a good little DIY, but for
Yeah,
something of that scale,
exhausting.
no. I
Yeah.
said to my man, I'm like, you know what? I would be fine with like justice of the peace type of ceremony and then to do like a big reception or like celebration after. That
Gotcha.
would because having to like do all the planning, I was stressed out over my baby's 1 year birthday party. Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, please, you would be overwhelmed planning a wedding, and I'm like, "That's why I really wouldn't want to have a ceremony." I'd be
Yeah.
fine with just, like, a reception or, a little not a little, but, like, we could do, like, a big get together after, because
Right, right.
I don't need that first part, and then also too, I'm not religious, so
Yeah,
a
the whole church.
ceremony to me is is a very religious piece.
Mhm.
So I don't interact with the church. I don't associate with the religion. I am a spiritual being, which we all know, right? Listening to me talk on here time and time again.
Mm, yeah.
I wouldn't feel right having a ceremony and like it just it neither of us are religious, so it's just not suiting, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Same. I would relate in that kind of a sense. I'm not, overly religious or anything like that, neither is he. So I
mhm.
don't know if a church would be
Right.
in the picture, but you know us, we'd probably do some kind of like destination type of thing, I would think.
Hey, let me know when I'm booking my flight. Oh, obviously you're gonna let me know when because once you get that ring, on a video chat. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. That's what that's gonna be. A
Oh, it
bunch of oh
sure
my
will.
goshes, oh my goshes. And
Mm.
I'm gonna have to put a little bug in his ear because I'm patiently waiting too. But I
Uh,
understand last year was a busy year and stuff like that. And this year is a little busy, but not as busy as last year. So,
Wait, last
you
year was a
know,
busy year? Oh, maybe.
last year was a busy year for you,
Was it?
more so.
Maybe. I don't know,
I just mean a year of many events.
Oh, okay. I don't I'm trying to, like, get what you're putting down here, but I'm not picking it up, so I don't know.
What I'm putting down that you're not picking up is that last year was a busy year of events. So maybe he was just trying to allow you to get a breather before you start getting all worked up and excited again.
Oh, okay. Now it's kicking into my mind about everything that happened last year. Copy. Gotcha. Alright.
It
There's
was
a
a
lot of
long year.
plannings and things, and girl, I
Yes, a
don't
lot
know.
of
I'm just
events.
gotcha, gotcha, gotcha,
The
gotcha.
trauma
Yes.
got you already forgetting it. Oh my
Mm,
goodness.
sure does, because this year is not really any better. So, I mean, no, I'm good. I'm lying. It is definitely better when it comes to, like,
Just not necessary.
the
It's
number
not
of
any
people.
less eventful, is what you mean.
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
There you
exactly.
yeah.
That's why I'm here for you,
So
girl.
yeah.
I'm able to be in your mind.
You are indeed, and that's what happens when we've been friends for so many damn years.
I know when you can't get rid of each other, you just keep on going.
Yeah, true story. Our story.
Only.
Uh, Probably.
Yeah, we're unique, but that's
Sure
how we
are.
are. So yeah, so I'm gonna just put a little bug in and
Don't
see what we get from
or
that.
do. No,
And
don't.
y'all, do y'all think I should put this bug in? Because I'm thinking I'm gonna be putting this bug in his ear.
No, no bugs. No
Just
bugs.
get the process speeding up a little bit. Just speed that on up.
No, no, no. It has to be on their own time, you know what I mean? I'm
Mhm,
not here
mhm.
to rush anything. What's meant
Sometimes
to be will be.
you're right. It will be happening.
Playing with you. Don't start before
It
I
will be
reciprocate.
happening. It's gonna happen.
I am playing with you.
Ooh, I can't wait till we wrap up this episode, girl, because I got some talking to do.
No, you don't. We're never gonna wrap up this episode.
Ah,
We're just gonna sit here and talk forever then.
oh, I know
Uh,
y'all about tired of hearing us right now. So what? No, I'm playing.
oh man.
So
I'm playing with
honestly,
you.
destination wedding, what places would be like of interest for you?
Um, well, that's kind of putting it on the spot because I haven't really put too much thought into it.
Okay.
I don't really feel like I need to until the time would present itself.
I was just picking your brain.
But I
She's
mean
like the
I mean,
pressure.
there's kind of one obvious place that I'm pretty sure would, uh,
Hmm.
happen. So,
Okay.
it's probably only that one place.
Okay.
Just it would just make things more convenient and easy, but I picture some kind of like um, two birds with one stone kind of a situation to where the whole, like, bachelor, bachelorette slash, like, wedding thing would just all
Okay.
happen, like, same
In
place,
one
same
place.
yeah.
Okay, I'm
Just to make it
down.
easy because, me and him have been introduced into some situations, that have been rather difficult when it's, trying to do so many different things in so many different places.
Okay.
And so because of that, I think that we've kind of just, like, learned that, like, it might be easier to just do,
All in
everything
one.
in one instead.
Yeah.
you know?
Do it at like a resort or something too, and then everybody gets fed, and you
Exactly.
just it's easy peasy. I'm down for that. I am here for it. I just envision sand, warm weather, a
That's the
mint.
only thing though. I never really I mean, it sounds all great and I don't mean to cut you off, but you just have me going here now. Just thinking about like I never really wanted to parade a wedding dress in sand
Oh,
and like, I don't know, just
we
like
could do a
hot
grassy
and like
hill.
it
Hmm.
just seems all I don't know, just like
It's a little extra
complicated.
weight. That's all.
Yeah, I
But
don't know.
okay. So then what I see is I see a grassy
Wait, all right,
terrain.
y'all. Where's Amanda's fucking crystal ball?
Yes,
The hell?
I see it. And y'all listen when when the wedding comes and this is what happens, don't
Oh
say
my
nothing
god. Why
either.
are we still even
I don't
talking
want to
about
hear it.
this? This wasn't
So
supposed to get into this
I see a
conversation. No, all right.
grassy terrain.
Anyways, thanks,
Off in the
guys.
distance, I see the ocean and
Oh
some
Lord.
sand, which is a little further down, and the sun is at a good set because it's not too hot because we can't ruin Cassie's hair. So
Oh
it's just
god.
it's in the
That's
evening,
cool.
so it has like that pinkish orange type of
Oh,
haze to it.
okay. All right.
All right. No, I'm feeling this. I know exactly what it's gonna look like, but you know what? I'm gonna stop describing it there, and we're just gonna wait for it to happen in real life, and then we're just gonna be like, "Hey, told you so."
Oh gosh. All right. Well, we will wait for that day to come, and when it does, you guys will surely be updated. Oh, I just
All right, guys. Well, I'll stop here and I will no longer bother Cassie about her wedding to be.
oh my
I know we
god.
gotta wait for the ring first, so
I
I'll
hope
slow
he's
it
not
on
listening to
down.
this.
Oh, I hope your man is tuning in to this episode because I didn't even have to plant the bug. The bug is already there.
Oh my god, save me.
Anywho,
Sorry, babe.
we want to thank y'all for tuning in to another episode. Do not forget to check out our pages on Instagram, Facebook. We're on YouTube. So not only can you hear us, but you get to see our lovely faces. So, how much more fun is that, right? So, don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. And until next time.
Bye, guys.